Making an accountable leader, I did not set out in Lions to be a leader within this organization. Shortly after I became a member of my club, I was asked to be the president of my club, which we do with a lot of our new members that come in. And I thought that I had a couple of years in order to get acclimated with the organization and to become a leader of our club. And of course, the first vice president had to leave down to the southern part of our country. The next vice president had to leave because of work, so I was thrust into a leadership position within our club, which many of us happen to do. And once I became the president of our club and my term was done, I got a call from our district governor asking me if I would like to become a zone chairperson. He thought that I would be able to do a good job. And I came up with every excuse in the book. I said, you know, I've got 4 children, they're just going into school, I've got a business that's thriving and we're trying to grow the business, and my wife, she's working too, and I've got so many irons in the fire, you know, but I'll think about it. And that district governor turned to me and on the phone and he said, good, I'll put you down. And if it wasn't for that one moment, life-changing event, I could guarantee you I would not be here today doing what I'm doing. You know, it's very important for us being leaders that we recognize the potential leaders that we have out there and give them that little edge and to encourage them to get out of their comfort level and get them out of the box that they're used to and expand their skills. So I found out very quickly as a zone chairman that I needed to change some things in order to become accountable. The zone chairs were waiting for clubs to come to them. They didn't take the initiative to go out to the clubs. So there was a lot of things that I had to do, and we all have to do as leaders, in order to accomplish the goals that we set out to do. And in doing that, we become accountable. You know, I was made an accountable leader, and then becoming district governor and past council chair taught me the skills that I needed to be an accountable leader. Accountability and leadership go hand in hand. Everyone wants to be a leader. However, few are prepared to accept the accountability that goes with it. But you can't have one without the other. They are synonymous. They go hand in hand. First and foremost, it means that you accept responsibility for the outcomes expected of you. And those outcomes can be both good and bad. You don't blame others. You don't blame the external environment. There are always things that you could have done or still can do to change the outcome. If the outcome is positive, you give credit to your team. If it's negative, you look at things that you can do in order to make it better. Until you take the responsibility or the accountability, you're a victim. And being a victim is the exact opposite of being a leader. Victims are passive. They're acted upon. Leaders are active. They take initiative to influence the outcome and make it happen in a positive manner, or at least according to their plan. A leader is someone you choose to follow to a place you wouldn't necessarily go by yourself. I have many mentors and leaders throughout my life, as I know you all do as well. My father, my family, business associates, and especially fellow Lions. The good Lions have been my mentors, helping me to lead as well. Leadership is influence. In another word, the right question is how to be an influencer, how to influence a group. We learn to increase our influence. Based on a John Maxwell, who is a leading authority on leadership, leadership has 5 levels, which a successful leader will pass through to arrive to the desired and optimized influence level. On the ground floor of leadership, the key is the position. At this ground floor of leadership, people follow you because they have to follow you, much because maybe you're a boss, maybe you are a president of the club. They're there in order to follow you because that's why they're there. The level 1 of leadership is the base level. Without it and the authority that is given to you, you can't lead. All leaders of level 1, and in order to enhance their leadership, will move on to level 2. Now, if you're not accountable and people don't trust in you and believe in you, you may not leave that first level of leadership. If you are accountable and you're a good leader, all leaders from level 1 will move on to level 2. The key word is relationship in level 2. This is a cool level because here people follow you because they want to follow you, because they've learned that you're a good leader. You like people and they begin to like you and want to move to the next mile with you. So in this level, your ability to connect with people is very important. And if you become successful at that level of leadership, after moving to level 2, leaders should work moving to the production level, which is level 3, and the key word is results. In this level of your leadership, the people follow you for what you did for the organization. They start talking about you in terms of one who gets results or somebody who gets things done. In level 3, you start having the successful feeling and the winning of a positive atmosphere. And again, if you're accountable and you get results, you'll move on to the next level of leadership, which is level 4, which is the people development level. Here people follow you because of what you have done for them. You have a track record out there. They love to follow you because you're developing them and starting to feel happy because they're getting better and becoming loyal to you and giving you the credit for some of the things that you've accomplished in your life. If you have the position of the title and you have good communication skills and you can connect well with people, in addition, you're developing people as well. Here you're layering your leadership and you deserve being in level 5 in the personhood level, where people follow you because you are who you are and what you represent. It's the personhood level. If you pass the first 4 levels, it's because you've been accountable and you've been successful at getting results. Now, you don't have to do more. Your people will pick you up at this level, which becomes automatic. In your leadership path, you can't get into a new level without passing the levels that come below it. Don't think that a leader can become in level 5 without passing the first 4 levels and being accountable for the things that they have done. In order to be an effective leader, you have to have certain qualities. In order to advance to the different levels of leadership, you need these qualities, like likability. This is a friendliness and a charm that naturally attract others to the great lion leaders. If you're honest and straightforward, you'll be likable. That's a quality that people look for and truly want in their leaders. I know a survey was done, and those are the 2 highest qualities that people look for in a leader, is honesty and being straightforward. One must also be daring. You must have a willingness to take chances, to persevere even in the face of failure. You have to be able to choose a direction and go in that direction and making changes accordingly if the direction is not panning out the way that you want to. Another quality that comes to mind is persuasiveness, the ability to convince others to follow a specific plan. Make your idea become their idea. You have to be able to really inspire and motivate other lions to accomplish that. That makes a great leader. To be an effective lion leader, you must be adaptable, a willingness to try new methods and to not have the fear to abandon ineffective ones. If something is not going correct or not going according to plan, you have to be able to make that decision. Additional leadership attributes. You must show people you're decisive. You must have the ability to choose a course of action, and you must be confident in that action. You need to always have optimism, the belief and fortitude that you will ultimately succeed. You need an attitude of we can do it, not I can do it, but rather we can do it. You need a goal-directed, dependable approach and the drive to be able to get things accomplished. These attributes give you credibility, which in turn gives you accountability, what the session is all about. This is what makes an accountable leader. You know, I think the final and most important quality that a great lion leader has, it's attitude. Attitude is contagious. People will see your attitude. Your enthusiasm is a key to a real lion leader. Be positive and have energy. Attitude is a vitality that keeps one going and inspires others to do the same. One of the most important things to remember is let the members be responsible for the success. Leaders don't accomplish...
has put you on hold. Please be online. आपने जिस वोडाफोन उपभोक्ता को कॉल किया है, उन्होंने आपके कॉल को होल्ड पे रखा है. कृपया
If you can still hear me yet, the leaders will be responsible for the success. Leaders don't accomplish anything alone. Leaders work for contribution, for the opportunity to serve their members. Ultimately, they work for the love of doing for other people. Leaders put a great deal of attention on learning to be in the present. They're not worried about getting caught up in the past or things that have happened in the past, or anxiety about the future. Remember, if you think you're a leader and no one's following, you may be just out for a stroll. The bottom line is that no organization can grow and prosper until the leaders on all levels, and this is club, district, multiple, and international, are willing to step up and take the responsibility. As that begins to happen, it opens up a whole world of possibility. A leader leads by example, whether they intend to or not. Thank you for listening, Sanjita, and the rest of you.
Thank you so much, Director Sheehan. That was indeed a wonderful presentation in which you not only spoke about how you became a leader, but you said that your accountability led to your climbing the ladder, a lesson which many of our participants would like to take back, I'm sure. Warren Buffett said, I look for three things when I hire people. The first is personal integrity and accountability. The second is intelligence. And the third is a high energy level. But if you don't have the first, the other two are meaningless. Absolutely right. And that is what is important, being an accountable leader. That was indeed a wonderful presentation by Director Sheehan. We will now move on to pass it to National Director A.P. Singh, and may I request you to share your views on being an accountable leader. PID Singh.
Thank you, Sangeeta. The first point that I would like to make is that in an association or an organization like ours, a leader is not recognized by how many followers he has. A leader is recognized by how many leaders he creates.
आपने जिस वोडाफोन उपभोक्ता को कॉल किया है, उन्होंने आपके कॉल को होल्ड पे रखा है. कृपया लाइन पे बने
Sangeeta, you have to switch off your mobile phone, please.
You have called has put you on hold. Please be online.
Sangeeta, please switch off your mobile phone.
I am muted. I am muted.
होल्ड पे रखा है.
Okay. So a leader is known by how many leaders he creates. In an organization like ours, it is the prime responsibility of every individual who is occupying a position, occupying a particular office, to be sponsoring and promoting the incoming leaders. Succession planning, bringing in the second line and the third line of leadership is the key, is extremely critical. There is hardly any point in any club, zone, region, district, or at any level in an organization like ours to be doing extremely well in a particular year or in a couple of years, and then in the following years thereafter there is a tremendous decline. So the accountability or the answerability of an individual who is a leader is in making sure that that individual fosters and brings forth the quality of leadership amongst the others with whom that individual is working. Now, when we speak of an accountable leader, we must also understand that very often in an association like ours, we say that we are volunteers. So there is a limit to the amount of pressure that can be put upon us, that we aren't really answerable, and especially we aren't answerable for bottom lines. I have a point of difference there. I believe so long as we continue to work as volunteers, all that is fine. But when we occupy a position of office, or so to say, when we accept an office of leadership in an organization like ours, in Lions Clubs, we are committing ourselves to be answerable, to be transparent, and let our actions speak. We must be able to verbalize what we wish to achieve, where we wish to take our club, our zone, our region, our district, and at the end of it, we must lend ourselves to a very open and a candid critical analysis whether or not we have been able to achieve what we really set out for. I mean, it's a learning, it's a journey of mutual discoveries, it's a journey of learning from each other. At the end of every journey, which may be a year, which may be a period of 2 years for directors or for anybody, it's a question of how much we have enriched ourselves and how much we have contributed to the organization. It's this balance that must be preserved. For an accountable leader, a leader must always be ready to answer to oneself or to the entire organization, this is what I got from the organization. These are the opportunities that came my way. These are the relationships, as I.D. Sheehan said, that came my way. And this is what I did with those opportunities. This is what I achieved. This is what I could help others to achieve. This is where I could leverage those resources, those opportunities to get my club or my district or my multiple district to do better. That's very important, because today when we go to an international convention, when you go to an area forum, when you are in any other meeting where you get Lions from across the world, it is such a rare occasion that you are breaking bread with people from across the world. Right now, this very webinar, we have individuals from 4 different continents at least who have joined on this webinar. Now, where on earth would we get an organization like this where we can get people from different walks of life, from different parts of the world to come together and share? This is what we get here. So there is something that we owe to the organization, and we owe to our communities through our organization. And that's what we must basically discharge. And the last thing that I would like to add here is that a definition of a lion, one of the greatest definitions of a lion that I have heard in many, many years, went like this. Lions are trustees of the future generations in their own communities and their own countries. So if we are trustees of the future generations in our own communities, in our own countries, we are accountable, because we are dealing with public money, we are dealing with public resources, we are dealing with public time, we are dealing with public aspirations. I mean, we've got to be transparent. No matter if the Lions indulge in any fundraising and raise funds and start up programs and projects and continue to them, and in the process even own certain fixed properties and assets in the names of their clubs and the foundations, but all of that is held in trust for our communities, for our countries, for the common people. That's what must always be at the back of our mind, to build continuity, to build transparency, to build accountability. If we can build all of it, then we will be discharging the role of what is really expected from us. So much for now, and I turn it back to you, Director Sangeeta.
Thank you so much. But don't you also believe that to practice accountability is not only to hold yourself accountable, but also to hold others accountable? Leaders, I believe, who can hold others accountable are those who can generate trust in both. We'll talk more about that, but before that, I think our second speaker, past Council Chairperson Raju Manwani, has joined through the telephone. PID Singh, would you please see, and we can get him to say a few words. Can you just check up PID Singh?
I am checking up, but I don't see his name appearing. We've got 33 attendees.
Okay, yes, I can see the number of attendees, but he has just sent a text message saying that he's online and he can hear us. So I wonder whether you can, maybe he's coming through another.
Can you ask him to start speaking in that case?
Okay. Raju, if you are online, would you please start speaking? Past Chairman Raju Manwani.
I don't think he's there online.
Okay, till we wait for him. As I was saying, I also believe that apart from holding oneself accountable, we should also hold others accountable. If you can hold others accountable, people respond to accountability, particularly those who are good performers. They want to be held accountable, I believe, and they will be more responsive to any responsibility given to them if we also set targets, monitor them, and work with them. An absolute case is the time when we started the monitoring of membership growth. The moment, PID Singh, you would remember, the moment we started holding leaders accountable for the targets they set for themselves, we found that their performance levels increased a lot. So as good leaders, we not only have to hold ourselves accountable, but also others accountable. Accountability builds extraordinary trust in the culture when people feel secure in the knowledge that everyone will be held to certain standards. And when they believe that, I believe performance increases. We can open up this discussion for our participants, who I see are many. So would you like to ask the participants, if you can hear me, you have put up your hand icon. If you would click on that, PID Singh would then unmute you and you could ask your question to Director Sheehan, PID Singh, or to me, and you would be only too glad to answer. And if Past Council Chairman Raju, you join in, do let us know so that we can get you into this conversation also. So PID Singh, would you go to the attendees now?
Yes, that's right. And any of the attendees we have with us here today, if you wish to speak, you want to present a viewpoint, or you have a question to ask, you can put up your hand. And I can see the first hand from Karen Sell. So I'm unmuting Karen Sell, and you can please start speaking now.
Thank you so much. I'm out here in Arizona, USA, and you made the point that Lions make a change from being just volunteers to something more when they take on a leadership position. It seems like there is a difficulty in especially moving to, say, the zone chair type position, the first position out of the club, in convincing Lions that that's actually the case, or in helping them to understand that they can do a little more than they were used to as just being volunteers in their club. And I'm wondering if you could speak a little bit more to how we might encourage or motivate our Lions to take on that bigger role at that level.
May I address that, Sanjita? This is
Please go ahead.
Here again, and I think that's a very good comment, and I appreciated Past Director Singh's comments too, that volunteers are not always answerable or accountable, and I think that's something where our volunteers have to be accountable. And much like I said in my earlier conversation, is I did not want to step out of that comfort level or comfort box outside of my club as well. And I think that's something very important that we have to, and that's part of what the GLT is for, is to recognize those potential leaders, because if they do not get that little boost, the biggest thing would be encouragement. If we do not give some of our club members that encouragement to take it to that next level of the district or of the zone, it's just not going to happen. People are passive enough. They enjoy doing what they're doing, and leadership is not for everybody. But once they take that step and get that encouragement from everybody, I think that makes it much easier to be able to do. But that's something we all have to be able to motivate other people in our clubs and letting them take that step forward.
Yes, thank you, Director Sheehan. And if you heard the order in which I was putting forward my points, the first thing that I put forward was to be able to create a pool of leadership, willing leaders, coming forward to accept these positions as a part of their discharge of social responsibility. Once we can do that, then we need to bring in accountability. If we cannot create that desire, bring in that, help others to realize that they have it within them to provide leadership, then they might take it upon them as a burden, in which case the issue that Karen is raising would become very, very predominant. Sangeeta, if you'd like to add something to it, please go ahead.
I think being accountable is taking up responsibility. And once we agree to take up a responsibility, we are accountable. Responsibility, stewardship, call it ownership, call it whatever. It's all the same. And the opposite of this behavior is to not take responsibility, to not own up, but rather to say, it's not my fault. You can't point fingers. You've got to be responsible for what you do. So as leaders, we've got to understand that once we take up a position, people are looking at us, they are watching us, they are also expecting results from us. And if we cannot, we have no right to take up leadership positions.
I can see the next hand put up is from, thank you, Karen. And I can see that the next hand put up is from Ashok Gupta. I am unmuting you, and Ashok, you can please go ahead. You're unmuted, Ashok. Ashok, will you please speak? I think there is some challenge to the audio situation with Ashok. And the next hand that we see put up is by Dr. Siva Prasad. Dr. Siva Prasad, you are now unmuted. You may speak now.
Good evening, Past Director APG. As you rightly said, because we are dealing with the public time and money, we are definitely accountable, and we are going to be the trustees of the future generation. That is a very good statement. But how can we enforce this at the club level and zone level and the district level? Can you throw some light more on this so that this accountability could be questioned by the line numbers itself?
We have two directors on this discussion with us. So who would like to take it first? Director Sheehan, Director Jatia?
I can do that. That'd be no problem. The question is, how do we enforce the taking of some responsibility in our club level? And I agree totally with past director saying the definition of Lions as the trustees of future generations in our own communities. That's a lot of responsibility for becoming a leader, and we have to be able to, we're preaching to the choir here. We all understand that we're all leaders and we're all concerned about this organization, but we have to be able to get it down into our club level, and that's going to be the responsibility of not only the club, but all the people right here. It's going to be your responsibility as well to take this information back to the club, let them know the responsibility and the great desire that we have in order to be responsible for our future generations and keeping this organization and showing all the great things that we do. And it gets back down to the service that we do within our clubs too. If we can get our clubs to do their service, that's giving them great responsibility and fulfilling a lot of the things that this organization is all about. It has to be a continued effort again and again and again. And I know people get tired about hearing about membership or get tired of all the different things that we can do, but we have to keep it in the forefront. We have to talk about all the great things that we do, and we have to share that with other non-Lions so that we get that fulfillment of doing great things for others, and that's how we try to get the responsibility in the club level so that they're happy in doing the things that we're doing. They can't become stagnant. They have to continue and move forward and doing the great things that all of our clubs do.
Yes, Sangeeta, would you like to add something to it?
I believe.
Yes, Sangeeta, would you like to add something to it?
Yes, of course. What I also agree is any position that you occupy, you've got to be responsible. And that's what you've got to, what I said was, you've got to make others accountable. Many times we cannot make others accountable because we have not clearly communicated to them what is expected. If you would give a position to anybody in the club, and before giving that position, explain to them what that, or the job description, or what that responsibility entails, or what they would require to do in that position, I think most people would not take up positions if they were not able to fulfill them. And if they are, then only they would accept that. Most of the times, we do not explain to our members what is expected of them. And that is the time when they do not take up, or we think they do not take up the responsibility. The fact of the matter is, they do not know what their responsibility is. If we can communicate that to them, I think we will not have so many problems and people will be accountable. Each one of us are accountable, so why not in a Lions Club? And we do understand that to move ahead, to do anything, to make us, or to be truthful to ourselves, we've got to be accountable. I believe if we can start communicating what is expected, we can get the results also, and we can get accountable leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. And with this, we will move on to Lion Mabhena. Lion Mabhena, you are unmuted. You can speak now. You can also tell us from which part of the world you are, and it's, you can start speaking now.
Thank you very much. My name is Lion Piraisha Mabhena. I'm from Zimbabwe. I come from a district which has got, which is comprised of about 4 countries, which makes it quite a bit difficult for the district leader at any one time to coordinate whatever they may want to implement during their year. But my observation is that in the past few years, we've lost a good number of clubs, mainly due to negligence of the leadership. And before I add, I concur with the point that has been made earlier on, that once one accepts a position of leadership, definitely they must be accountable and bear the full responsibility of delivering on that respective portfolio. Further to my point, what I'm saying is now we've got a situation where we have our GLT being coordinated by a single chairperson who's got multiple assistants throughout the district. That now gives us a better point, as in each country we've got a GLT member who can see to it that members are trained or get the necessary development and grooming for leadership. Such that I feel it is very important for the incoming district governor to consult the GLT team before they appoint senior portfolios, especially portfolios like zone chair, which have got a lot of bearing on how the district is running. And as Lions, I also think that a lot is being done to try and bring up the level of leadership within the Lions family. And I think we need to applaud you, the Academy, for what you're doing. I think it's a great job. Thank you very much.
Yes, any comments to that, Director Sangeeta or Director Sheehan?
Thank you for your comments. That was really nice.
Any comments to that, Director Sangeeta or Director Sheehan?
I think it was just a comment. Did you have a question? I could not hear that.
I think in commenting to Lion Medina's comment, I think he's very correct in the quality of our training is getting much better with the Leadership Academy here and the capabilities that we now have with technology. Since I've been a Lion, the leadership opportunity and training and understanding what needs to be done and what needs to be accomplished has come in great strides. The availability out there for people to gather more information of what needs to be done has helped out tremendously with leadership academies like this.
Thank you. And the next hand that I see raised is from Lion Atul Shah. So Lion Atul Shah, will you please speak now? You're unmuted. Atul Shah, you put your hand up. Okay, it seems there's some audio challenge here too, and so that's the reason why we don't hear Lion Atul Shah speaking. There is the hand put up from Lion Rajkumar Agarwal. Yes, Lion Rajkumar Agarwal, will you please speak? You're unmuted. Yes, Lion Rajkumar. Lion Rajkumar. I can hear some sounds, but I didn't hear him speak. One last time I can try for Ashok Gupta because his hand is still up. Yes, Amit Kishore Puria, you put your hand up. Do you want to speak?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Sir, you raised a very... Hello.
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
You raised a very valid point. The directors, leaders are those who create leaders. To just add to this point, I have some questions. The way in which elections are run in our districts, it creates lot of acrimony and disputes among members. How the leaders at the top level, at the international level see this, which acts as a big detriment in creating and fostering the leadership so that we can create more leaders. Over to you.
Okay. Can I request Director Sangeeta to please take this question because disputes among and conflicts at time of elections and all may not be very predominant in United States or something. For Sangeeta, would you like to take this question?
I know that is one of the challenges which we in this part of the world face a lot, especially during elections. We do have sometimes unethical leadership coming in where for the wrong reasons sometimes we do get a lot of heartburn, we have a lot of acrimony, we have a lot of infighting, and that is, I believe, because we have given such a lot of recognition to this position of governorship. It is there all over the world, but in this part, it has a lot of prestige value. But at times, we make it an ego issue. Lionism is not about, or leadership is not about having egos, and we, as mature leaders, have to understand that we've got to stop this. We are trying, in many places, we have been successful. in doing away with this kind of disagreements, very strong disagreements at certain times of the year. And we also have to learn to live with diversity, a lesson which that people can have different views, people can have different ideas, and we can all coexist. This international organization teaches us that, and as leaders, we've got to spread the word. We've got to take everybody's point of view. It is not you or me, it is we that matters. So I do understand the challenges here, but as leaders, we are responsible for what we are doing. We don't fall prey to the kind of infighting. Nobody can make us fight. It's up to us, you and me, to settle this right and take our organization forward.
Thank you. And at this stage, I don't find any more hands that are up from individual lines from different parts of the world wanting to ask questions. There were a couple of hands, but the mics didn't seem to work. And our friend Ashok Gupta, Vice Governor, is putting up his hand again and again. And this is the last time I'll try it if it works. Yes? Ashok, you're unmuted now. You can speak if you wish. No, there's a challenge with his audio. We don't hear anything. So, Director Sangeeta, I turn it back to you. And there have been no further questions or comments from any of the attendees.
I have a message from past Council Chairman Raju Manwani, who due to some technical reasons tried to join in. Probably the phone noises that we were hearing were coming from his end, but he could not stay connected. It was getting disconnected. He had the wrong date in mind, and that is why that trouble. So we are very sorry that he could not join us today, but we must say thank you to Director Sheehan for taking the time, taking the trouble, and of course sharing so much with the members, the participants of this webinar. Director Sheehan, from the Eastern India Alliance Leadership Academy, please accept our grateful thanks for joining today, for sharing your thoughts, and for being with us. I'm sure in the future we'll have many more opportunities. We have a good number of participants today, as I see, and to all of you, thank you so much for joining. Keep tuning in. We will have many more webinars twice a month, as promised. The new schedule will be on in a couple of days, and then you can also send in your suggestions to any one of us if you require or if you feel this would be a good topic. We could then tailor-make the webinars to suit your needs. Thank you so much, each one, for joining. And before I sign off, may I request PID AP Singh to say a few words. Remember, this webinar will be available on the webinar archives for you to listen whenever you wish to. Good night, good morning somewhere, and thank you so much for joining. Over to PID Singh.
Thank you, Director Sangeeta. And our next webinar will be on the 21st of this month, same time. Please do join in, ask other lions, and spread this word around. And as we gradually see, the attendance on the webinars is beginning to increase. And the best part is we have opinions from different continents. Even today we had individuals you heard among the attendees coming in from different parts of the world, and of course Director Sheehan from the United States. So 21st would be the next webinar. Do join in. And as Sangeeta said, recordings of all previous webinars, including this one, it takes about a couple of days. In this case, it may take about a week for it to be up there in the archive section of the website, and make use of it. Send us more of your resources, whatever you feel can be put up on the website for lions from across the world to share. Tell us what you like. Start the new discussions up there. It's an open platform for the lions of the world. And once again, for Lion Ashok Parikh, who's really trying his best to spread the word around, and we've seen that wonderful effort going on from his end. Thank you very much for all the help and all the support that keeps coming from your end, especially in certain specific parts of the country of India where you keep on sending out messages for the webinar. Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for joining. With this, we'll conclude the webinar today a little early, maybe just 10 minutes early. But that's fine. I think we've had a great discussion. Thank you.